If you're planning to retire in Savannah, the sticker price of the home is not the number that matters most. The number that matters is your monthly carrying cost, and around here, it moves more than what most people expect. Cross one county line and your property tax bill can swing by thousands of dollars a year on the same priced home. Insurance on the coast works differently than it does inland. The community that you choose adds its own line item too.
None of that is a reason to worry. It's a reason to plan. After nearly a decade helping retirees relocate to coastal Georgia, we can tell you that this is the math your CPA might not be running with you.
Today, we're walking through the whole picture: taxes, insurance, HOA dues, and finishing with a real-world example on a $500,000 home. The final number surprises almost everyone in a good way.
Georgia's tax treatment of retirement income is one of the few headlines that still holds up when you look at all the details, and the retirement income exclusion is where that starts.
Georgia gives you an exclusion up to $65,000 per person at age 65 and $35,000 per person between 62 and 64. Each spouse qualifies separately. That means that a married couple, both over 65, can shelter up to $130,000 of retirement income from state tax before the flat rate even kicks in. Pensions, IRA distributions, dividends, capital gains, and rental income all qualify, and Social Security is not taxed at the state level at all.
Then there's the flat state income tax, which dropped to 5.19% in July 2025, and there's already legislation moving it down toward 4.99%.
Property taxes are where the picture gets more interesting because in the Savannah area, the answer depends heavily on your county. The place that you buy can shift your tax picture more than the house that you choose. When we walk through the full math on a $500,000 home a little later, the monthly carrying cost is going to surprise you. Stick with us for that one.
That is the state level picture. The local layer is where the math starts to change. Before we get into that, if you're planning your next chapter in Savannah and want help running these tax and ownership numbers against your situation, that's what our team does for retirees all over coastal Georgia. Our contact information is in the description below, so reach out to us.
All right, now let's get back to the county breakdown.
Like Niki mentioned earlier, you can cross a single county line around Savannah and your tax bill can change by thousands of dollars a year on a very similarly priced home. That is the reality of coastal Georgia.
Start with Bryan County, which includes Richmond Hill. The current millage is 5.77 on the county side, plus 14.66 for schools and 1.5 for the school bond before any city levy. Important detail to take note of here: Bryan County has rolled back, which you don't hear of often, its county millage for 9 years in a row. While other counties are raising rates, Bryan is absorbing the impact of rising home values instead of passing it through to homeowners. And that is a really big deal to both the locals and those who are considering becoming locals.
Then there's Chatham County, which covers Pooler, Savannah proper, and the islands. This one is moving in the opposite direction. The special service district millage rose roughly 49% in 2025, and the city of Pooler raised its city millage about 13.5%. And truth be told, the special service district jump looks scarier than it is, but that's because it was absorbing a separate fire fee.
Here is what you need to see. The trend line is real. Chatham is getting more expensive on the tax side. And here's a pro tip. If you're comparing Pooler and Richmond Hill on a same price home, the tax math now favors Bryan County by a real margin. And that gap is getting wider.
The third county to consider is Effingham, which includes Rincon and Guyton. School millage runs slightly higher than Bryan County, but the entry price is lower. Rincon's new construction commonly starts in the mid $300,000 range, which means you end up with a competitive total tax bill in dollar terms, even when the rate isn't the lowest.
And one more thing worth knowing, Georgia has been moving towards stronger homestead protections. New 2026 legislation makes the statewide homestead exemption mandatory for local governments.
Bryan County is also pursuing a school tax value freeze of its own. The protection would apply to every homeowner in the county, not just retirees, and it would add real security on top of what's already in place.
In coastal Georgia, your county matters as much as your house. Keep that in mind because later we're walking through what the all-in monthly cost looks like on a $500,000 home.
Before we get there, the bigger question is what these tax numbers mean for you, and that depends on where you are moving from.
Most retirees don't need to know if Savannah is cheap or expensive in general. They need to know how it compares to the place that they're leaving. That's the number worth understanding.
If you are coming from the Northeast, like New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, or Massachusetts, the property tax drop is the part that's going to stop you in your tracks. Property tax burdens in those states typically run far higher than what you'll find in coastal Georgia. Our clients regularly tell us their annual property tax bill drops 50 to 70% just by relocating to the Savannah area at a comparable price point. That kind of difference changes a retirement budget in a hurry.
It changes the lifestyle.
Absolutely.
In a hurry. From California, the comparison has a few more layers. Prop 13 protects longtime California homeowners with a 1% cap on purchase price. So if you bought decades ago, your property tax savings here might be modest.
Where you win in Georgia is on the income tax side. California's top brackets exceed 12%. Georgia is a flat 4.99%, and with that $65,000 per person retirement exclusion, the effective rate on typical retirement income often ends closer to zero. And in California, wildfire insurance is getting harder and more expensive to obtain, and the math just makes sense.
For those of you considering a move from Florida, this is where the conversation gets honest. There's no state income tax there, and Georgia does have one. That's a real trade-off. The part most Florida retirees don't see coming is homeowners insurance. Florida's homeowner insurance now averages somewhere between $7,000 and $9,000 per year, depending on which source you check. And it's still climbing, and that's if you can actually get insurance.
Savannah's average runs around $4,800 a year, and we'll break that number down in the next section. That insurance gap, roughly $2,000 to $4,000 a year, is a significant number to consider when deciding on a retirement location. For the typical Social Security plus moderate pension retiree, Georgia often comes out with the lower total cost than Florida once flood insurance is factored into.
Where you're coming from changes the framing. The math usually works out in Savannah's favor, and insurance, which is up next, is where most retirees need to look closely.
Insurance is the line item we see retirees underestimate the most when they're running their numbers on Savannah. Savannah area homeowners insurance can run much higher than many inland Georgia markets. Insurify's 2026 data for Savannah shows an average around $4,800 a year for roughly $300,000 in coverage, which is about 75% above the Georgia state average.
Pro tip, if you are shopping for insurance quotes, you need to use a local provider because the rates are going to be better because they know the market. And our company actually invested in an insurance company so we can make sure that you are covered. Statewide insurance rates are up around 40% since 2021, and much of that increase is tied to our hurricane activity. The major Florida storms from 2018 through 2024 have shifted the regional reinsurance market. Coastal Georgia gets caught up in that pricing even when our market has not taken a direct hit.
And then there's flood insurance, which is a separate policy and works differently. Everyone around here is in a flood zone. The real question is whether you're in a high-risk flood zone. FEMA's April 2025 NFIP community data gives us a better local read. Average annual payments are between $1,000 and $1,500 across the Savannah area. On Tybee or closer to the waterfront, that number can climb depending on the elevation, the coverage, and the zone.
There's one thing that retirees need to know here. If you're paying cash and you're not financing your home, flood insurance becomes optional in non-high-risk zones. Lenders are the ones who require it. You still may choose to carry it for peace of mind, which we recommend, but it becomes a personal risk decision instead of a required line item.
Our advice to every client we work with is the same. During your inspection period, get the actual homeowners and flood insurance quotes for that specific property before you get through due diligence. Don't rely on averages or the seller's old policy number. Pull fresh quotes.
Based on the property address, our team can pull together all the information that you need to make an informed decision, because the difference between two homes on the same street can be hundreds of dollars a year. The truth of the matter is, though, that flood insurance is a pretty low cost for a pretty high peace of mind here in coastal Georgia.
Taxes and insurance are the line items that the state and the coast hand you. The next line is the HOA dues, and that's the one you actually get to choose. In Savannah, that choice shapes your monthly cost more than most retirees expect.
HOA dues are the item that catches relocating retirees off guard more than most any other. Most of the homes our clients buy here sit in HOA neighborhoods, and understanding what those dues actually get you is part of the math.
Quick note before we share numbers, everything you're about to hear is current as of 2026. Dues change, so treat these as a starting point and confirm the exact figure on any home that you're considering. Waterways in Richmond Hill runs $290 a month, which is about $3,500 a year. That gets you gated entry, marina access on the Intercoastal Waterway, a boating dock, lagoons, amenities centers, walking trails, and multiple resort-style pools. For retirees who want the saltwater coastal Georgia lifestyle, the HOA cost bundles real value here.
Del Webb Savannah at Heartwood is Savannah area's only true current active 55 adult community in this format. As of 2026, HOA dues run around $260 a month, and they're expected to increase once the full amenities are completed. What's included is significant: a 9,000 square foot clubhouse, indoor and outdoor pools, 8 pickleball courts, a fitness studio, the fish camp boathouse, and a full-time lifestyle director.
If we can give you one piece of advice, pay attention to lawn care. When landscaping is bundled into your HOA, that means no separate bill for having to have the grass cut and the edges trimmed, which closes a big chunk of the gap on the dues themselves.
Savannah quarters and pooler varies by neighborhood and by builder. The prices range between $1,700 to around $2,000 a year, just depending on if you're behind the gates or outside of the gates. And while you're behind the gates, you will have that mandatory club membership on top of that. The fairway section, for example, is around $287 a month plus your club membership.
If you're considering that area, you have to confirm the exact dues for the specific section, builder, and lot that you're looking at. It's not just one number.
The landings on Skidaway Island is the established premium option. It's a gated private island community with 6 golf courses, a marina, and a full club lifestyle.
The HOA is mandatory through the Landings Association. The Landings Club membership is voluntary, though most residents do join the club. As of 2026, initiation fees run somewhere between $50,000 and $80,000, with annual dues between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on the tier of your membership.
This is one of the highest total monthly ownership costs for any Savannah community, and it just makes sense though for retirees who love to golf and they want that full private club and thoughtful established coastal lifestyle.
Think of an HOA as a bundled cost. The key is matching the community's bundled lifestyle to the way that you want to live.
Next, we're putting every line that we have covered into one real world example, and the final number is the one that you're going to want to write down.
Here is an example we would typically walk a client through. A $500,000 house here in Richmond Hill, which is Bryan County.
We're using a retired couple, both over the age of 65, buying in cash with senior exemptions applied. Waterways is our HOA and a moderate flood zone.
Let's add it up.
Property taxes with the 65 plus senior exemption applied are in the range of roughly $4,200 to $4,800 a year.
Bryan County's senior exemption is strong. It's a $50,000 local exemption that applies to county, city, and school taxes. That lowers the taxable assessed value before the millage rate is applied.
Homeowners insurance on a home at that price point runs around $4,000 a year on average. You'll want to get the actual quote on your specific property because the roof age and the proximity to water are where that number tends to move.
Flood insurance in a non-high risk Zone X area costs somewhere in the range of $1,000 a year depending on the elevation and exact zone. As a cash buyer, wire that is optional, but most of our clients choose to carry it because, like Niki mentioned earlier, low cost, high peace of mind.
The HOA at Waterways runs around $3,500 a year for gated entry, marina access, amenity centers, and community landscaping.
Add it all up, total recurring cost of ownership before utilities lands roughly between $11,500 and $13,000 a year, which works right down to about $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month for property taxes, homeowners insurance, flood insurance, and a HOA on a $500,000 home with marina access and resort-style amenities. For a retired couple comparing what they were getting in New Jersey, for example, or Connecticut, or even coastal Florida, that number changes the conversation.
The retirees who get Savannah right look past the sticker price of the houses. They understand how the location, the insurance requirement, the tax exemptions, and the specific community all roll into one monthly number most people never calculate.
Run that math honestly, and Savannah stops being a maybe and it starts becoming the plan.
If you want us to run these numbers on a real property, considering your specific situation, make sure you reach out. We would love to help you with that. Our contact information is in the description below. The earlier you look at it, the more options you'll actually have on the table.
If you have decided that Savannah is the place that you want, but you're still working out which community fits best for you, watch If I Were Retiring in Savannah, Georgia, I'd Retire Here video next. We will walk through these 6 communities that we would personally retire in.
Thanks for watching, and we will see you in Savannah.